Hello, and welcome to iEARN-USA's Wednesdays with the World Mini-Lesson webinar. We're really excited today to have the Dreamline World Mini-Lesson. Before we get started, we wanted to share a few tips to make this experience run more smoothly. So if you'll continue to chat in the chat box like many of you are doing, please make sure that your settings say to all panelists and attendees so everyone can see your questions and your comments. If you do have questions throughout the seminar, through this webinar, please make sure that you click on Q&A, or you could also chat it right within the chat box. If your connections run slowly, please turn off all extra programs, or you might also have to restart Zoom and then rejoin us so that you can get connected. Thanks. My name is Connie Rinsink, and I'm the Director of Global Education and Outreach at iEARN-USA. Today I'll be joined by my colleagues Jennifer Russell and Jeffrey Harlan. But I would like to take a moment right here just to acknowledge the iEARN-USA team for their support. So thank you to Nicole, Alexander, and Roshana for all that you're doing behind the scenes. Our team is excited to have the rest of you join us for this next hour. We'd like to get a sense of who's joining us today. So please introduce yourself in the chat box if you haven't already, and share where you're joining us from, as well as your professional role. So I'm seeing that I have one from Iran. I see Moldova. I know that we have some from New York and Texas. We have one from India. Thank you so much for being here. Our agenda today is to have Jeffrey Harlan present the facilitation of the Dreamline World Mini-Lesson. Following that, Jennifer is going to be sharing some tips for online teaching and learning. And we'll have some time for your question and closing announcements at the end. To introduce Jeffrey Harlan, he is a veteran 30-year educator and iEARN project facilitator. Jeffrey created the Dreamline project when he realized that dreams were a critical element that were missing in schools. To date, over 100,000 students in 42 states and 29 countries have participated in this project. And we're happy to have Jeffrey here to share Dreamline with you today. So Jeffrey, we invite you to take it away.
Terrific. I'm Jeffrey Harlan, and I'm just getting myself settled here with pinning the video, and am so pleased. Thank you, Connie, and thank you, team, Roshana, Alexandra, Nicole, for helping this all to be possible. I have a lot to say to you today and a lot to share, but I think the first thing I want to say is that the program that I started, Dreamline, which has reached all over the world, I started as a classroom teacher. And as a classroom teacher in the USA, there were a lot of people who were interested, but there were also a lot of people who would, when I explained the program, would say, so you want to connect with a lot of our kids to connect with a lot of other kids around the world? Why would I do that? That does happen when I talk to some educators in the USA, and it never happens when I talk to educators in iEARN. When I went to my first iEARN conference in Morocco a couple of years ago, I knew that I had met my people, and that iEARN is my people, because as an educator, I have always sought to find those ways to connect to my students, to experiences, ideas, and thinking that expands their horizons. And that is what Dreamline World is all about. We are an iEARN project. We're on the iEARN website. This is a short link, a bit.ly link. If you type it in, it goes right to the iEARN page for Dreamline World, and you can become, if you find it interesting, you can sign up to participate. But let me start right away. I have information to present to you about what this is, why it is, and then we're going to go through an activity that you can do with your students as part of our Dreamline Abundance program, which I'll explain. So let me come right along here with using my backgrounds. In this day and age, I think a lot about this. I think a lot about this because we are at a time where, although we're very isolated, we're more than ever aware of how connected we are and why that matters. And so that's on my mind a lot, and it has motivated us to create adaptations of our program that will meet our new needs as educators in the pandemic experience and going beyond. Dreamline World is a program that engages students, invites students to share their dreams with each other and the world using art, words, technology, and developing purpose. We're strongly aligned to the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, and we're about helping students to recognize not just what I am learning, but why I am learning, and how I share my dreams, how I'm on the same page with other students in other places around the world to develop motivation, develop empathy, to develop expressive skills, both in English and visual arts, and to help our students recognize that as a part of a team, as a part of a group of people who care about making a change in the world, they can make that change. So let me go forward to just say that we have this project has started as a hands-on project, and it's about making a Dreamline banner that expresses your dreams in words and art. This is our students in Rwanda who participated in this program. This are our students in New Jersey who participated in this program. This is a student in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia's King Day celebration last year who participated in this program. And when students create these Dreamline banners, which are fabric banners, that express their thoughts, their values, their dreams to share with the world. Their intention is to go on a line. It is inspired by the tradition of Nepalese prayer flags. That's where the aha moment came in the evolution of this. And they're intended to go out into the world to inspire others and to show our students that they are the authors of change. They are the people who can create something that engages other people and causes them to change their awareness and change their behavior. These also get displayed in large, we do large public gatherings. This is a dream spiral that has 400 Dreamline banners from around the world that was part of our annual celebration here in Philadelphia. We've done a celebration at the Cherry Street Pier, which, as you can see, it's this very long art space. This year, our program is going to be all online. So we're going to do our first ever virtual festival that will be an all-day celebration on June 7th, and I'll tell you more about that later. The program started right here. That's where I live in Philadelphia. So in 2003, my colleague and I invited our students, our sixth graders in a school in Philadelphia, to create their Dreamline banners, the first ones, to write their dreams to share with the world, to write them on fabric, to connect them to each other. And I love to tell the story that when we went and we brought them outside on a spring day, and we put them out and hung them between two trees in the courtyard. And we brought the students outside to look at them, and they all got quiet. They all got quiet, and they all read each other's work with this sense of reverence. And right there is when my co-teacher, Sandy Crow, and I knew this is a way to engage students to think about what really matters to them, and to recognize that their peers have some very powerful and deep thoughts. So, and that those are worth knowing. That's where our program started, and now we are happy to say that it's created some engagement in a lot of places all over the world, where other educators have said, yes, this is something that matters to me. Creating this space in my classroom, in my school experience, for students to think about, what do I really care about? What matters to me? how can I take small steps in that direction? And that's why we sometimes say we're working to help students move in the direction of their dreams. Although it's all over the place, our program, it has every Dreamline banner, which is typically made of cloth, but not necessarily in the pandemic scenario. But every Dreamline banner has three qualities in common. They express dreams to share with the world. Then there are three other elements that make it a Dreamline banner. One is that they're the same size. So the size is 23 by 30 centimeters, 23 across, 30 up and down, so that when we put them all together, every dream gets the same space in our program. So we value equity very much. And we also, so the same size is really important. And then another quality is that they're all original. Even though many of them may deal with some similar ideas, similar topics, in the Dreamline program, we say, no, it's not a quote, not for someone else's words, for your words, for the words that you can share with everyone else that come from your heart, that tells about what you think is important. So they are original, every single one, and the artwork as well, not a cut and paste, not, oh, I love that image, I'm gonna bring it in. No, it's your work, and because we believe and we want to send the message to our students that we need your work. We need your contribution to the global Dreamline to share it together. And then the third one is that they're connected. And they're connected to a line that goes out into the world, a physical line. That's how we started. They're also connected on the internet. We have a mobile app that's called Dreamline World. And so they're part of a global Dreamline that literally spans the world. And that puts us in a very good position for where we are today, because we need that. So those are the three qualities that are true of all Dreamline banners. Now, today, obviously, we're in a period where many of our students are not in school. And luckily, our program has always been very oriented towards digital communication. So this, for example, is a big video screen. It's 7 by 11 feet at our Dreamline Festival last year. And these are some students from Cairo who had zoomed in and had shared their dreams with us. But we've been doing this for years. We've been doing work that has connected students across the world through digital means. And that includes our mobile app. And you can see the UN SDGs in the background, because once we started our mobile app, which was in 2017 launched, we recognized that we could tag our dream lines, tag our dream banners that are in it with the UN SDGs, and then they become a searchable database. So you can look through our search functions at all these other different dreams from kids in different places who care about water quality, who care about the problem of hunger around the world, who care about fair education regardless of gender, regardless of circumstances. So the UN SDGs, the Dreamline World mobile app are all connected together. And where we are today, and this is where we're going to go with our activity together, is we are going to take you through the first stages. I'm going to take you through the first stages of our program, which we call, it's our abundance program. And our tagline is out of an abundance of dreams, an abundance of care. And it's an all online Dreamline program. The only thing that students need to participate is a phone or any other internet device, and 3 pieces of paper. So 3 pieces of like this paper, actually, old-fashioned paper, and a mobile phone of any kind. And that is enough for them to participate. Now, I want to see if I can pause at this moment and see if there are any questions that are coming up. Let me just bring up if I can manage to take a look at the chat, because I do want to respond to things as folks think of them. I know if you're like me, it's you might think of a question and then like 20 minutes later, I have no idea what my question was. So there's some questions about joining the project, and definitely we'll talk about that. And possible to join the link without installing? Yeah, I think that's a Zoom question. Okay. Yeah, so to be, let me close this box for me so I can see better. There we go. Um, to to refer to joining the project, or for whom is this program designed. Our program has participants in kindergarten through college, and we have had very good participation in all those areas. I would say that the most frequent participants are in upper elementary and middle school. Many of our, or high school, especially for many of our international participants who are looking for an English language activity, which is very inclusive. It incorporates speaking as well as writing, and also is not a huge quantity of writing. It's a relatively small quantity of writing, so it becomes a more manageable project for second language acquisition, even for relative beginners. And I think thirdly, because our mobile app uploads Dreamline banners from around the world, students and teachers can look at the Dreamline banners that are created elsewhere. And again, for second language acquisition, it is a very strong way to help students engage in reading that's relatively simple and can be made. The database allows you to choose the age range of the authors, so you can sort of focus in on the language level that's appropriate for your students. And I think in that way, we've created something that can be of value to many, many people. So it is open to any adult-led group of students in kindergarten through 12th. So the way to join is to go to the iEARN page for a program and then sign up there. And then we send you all the information that you need in order to participate. All right, I'm doing all right on time. I'm just keeping track of things, about 15 minutes in. Let me talk to you a little bit about this program. So what we have for our Abundance program and how it works. And then I'll take you through, as I said, I'll take you through the first stage of it. It's the first of 4 lesson units. So the first lesson unit, and we'll do this one together in a few minutes, is called the You and New activity. And so all of our materials are formatted so that they read well, so they're designed to be presented on a phone screen. And I'll show you that. Like, everything is skinny, so it works on a phone screen, and the text and everything is very visible on a phone screen. The New and You takes us into looking at Dreamline banners from around the world and thinking about how am I like that student? How am I not like that student? And so immediately engaging our students in an experience of empathy with people all around the world. Then the second one is what we call the Inside Selfie lesson. So before students write down something that they're going to share, we want them to spend time thinking. And so we've structured what we call an Inside Selfie series of activities. And these are activities where students are thinking about their personal values and looking at values from kids in different parts of the world that have recorded them. They're thinking about what are their hopes for the future and following some prompts that we provide to think about 20 years from now and a change you want to see then. And also a little bit of looking at American poet Langston Hughes, who wrote about the power of dreams. And then the last part is thinking about hashtags. So hashtags is the way that we connect something to other people. We share our dream. And those hashtags can be the common hashtags that students often use in social media, but also we focus on the UN SDGs. So we have a series of hashtags that are specifically for the UN SDGs, and we encourage all students and participants to use. The third section, the third unit is offline. So these first 2 units are designed to be online, and what we'll do today is a live version. So you'll be doing things with me as I guide you. And students, we also have a version that doesn't require Zoom connection that we're using now, but can just be done by an internet page and sending things back. We love the Zoom because it allows us to have students to have conversations, to have discussions about what they're reading, what they're thinking. And as we all know, that helps them as learners a great deal. But this section is, which we call the Dream Keeper section, is when they actually take their ideas and they create a Dreamline banner that becomes on a piece of paper. It's actually done on a piece of paper. And that paper is then, the image on that paper is then uploaded to a folder that the teacher and we have established. So it's some repository. It could be emailed directly to the teacher. They create something on paper. They also use their phone to make an audio recording of themselves. So they talk into their phone, read what's on the paper. They create an audio recording of what they've written. And then they send both of those things, the image and the audio recording, up into the internet where it has to be teacher approved. We don't publish anything on our website. There's not a single thing on our website created by students that wasn't approved by their teachers. It is only teachers can upload the information to our Dreamline gallery. In the iEARN space, you can do all kinds of stuff. And that's where, I encourage you, we get iEARN groups, they can go school to school because it's an enclosed environment. It's a safe enclosed environment. But our public website is public, and therefore only teachers can upload the information. They feel that it's good. And we do not have anything in the way of, it's our policy not to use last names, for example. There can be first names. We discourage the use of names at all. So each banner and the voice speak for themselves, and each one tells you, you know where it's from when you see it, but you don't have any identifying information about students, and that's particularly important. The last stage after they've created them is to have a share out. So we encourage, a Zoom share out, or if they're up online, they can do an activity where they look at each other's banners and they make comments and they share with each other. So that moment of sharing, that moment of talking about what did you say, what did I say, and how do we have something in common is really an exciting moment. So that's the 4 stages, and we are going to go into, let's see, where are we going? We're going to stage 1. So I hope everyone's ready. So this is, if I was doing this with students, I would, we have a lot of people here, so, but I would want to have them be able to talk and to raise their hand and ask a question, and to engage. Instead, I'm going to have to kind of lead you through this and just ask you to do what I say. It's better if you can talk back to me and to each other, but this will give you an idea of what we are doing and what that idea is. I'm going to check on the chat here again, see if I have anything else to respond to. Okay. All right. Great. All right. Looks like mostly administrative types of things. So we'll move on. All right. Now I'm going to lead you through this activity. So this is what you need. You need a piece of paper. So if you don't have a piece of paper, I want you to get one right now, please. Just wait a moment. It doesn't have to be this size. You could use any size. That would be okay. So you have your piece of paper, all right? And you would fold your piece of paper in half. This is what students will do, right? Like this. And then on the left side, well, let me bring you right into, I'll start the screen share before I start talking you through this, because it has our written directions as well. So let me bring you right into here. And you should then see where it says you new activity. So I'm controlling this. Now this is a narrow screen, and the reason for that is it is designed for a phone. So it says you could use this on a phone, and maybe some of you are viewing this on a phone, I hope so. But all of our materials, and there's a bunch of different lessons here, the you new, the pillars, the banners, the values, the dreams, the tags, all these different lessons are formatted for the phone. The you new is the one that we're going to do. So in this lesson, we're going to look at a set of Dreamline banners together, and I'm going to ask you to think about, what do you see, what do you read, where you say, I could have written that. I agree. That's me too. That's the you part. That's the you part. So right now I want you to write the word you on the top of your paper on the left side, right? So you on the left side, Y-O-U. And then on the right side of the paper, I want you to write at the top N-E-W. So if you can still see my face here, it looks like this, you and new. Now, as a teacher, what you will be doing is having this screen share, exactly what I'm doing, on your screen. So you are not sending them to a website to scroll around and do something, whatever they feel like doing. You are going to guide them through that so that they are going to take their time and look at things together. And if you can do the online Zoom live, then you can have a conversation about what you're looking at together. So I'm going to do the same thing as though you were the student. So as the teacher, there are some directions here for you. And then we would go click here, and it brings us to this Dreamline gallery. And if you sign up to participate in our program, and if you go to do iEARN and sign up, you'll find out how to do that. Then you will get the materials for this. And the materials will include a code that goes into the keyword search here that brings up a set of particular banners. And it's six banners. And we have different groups of 6. So depending on the age of your students and the language, like we can send you a set of 6 that has several with Arabic in it, or we can send you a set of 6 that has some with Spanish language, or we can set you a set of 6 that has very young people, so that there's not a lot of language. This one is kind of a range of many different examples to give you a sense of the diversity. So this is our set of 6, and I would tell the students, okay, let's see what we have. These are all things that students created to share their dreams with the world. Here's one from Dubai. Here's one from Shanghai, China. Here's one from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Here's one from White Mountain, Alaska. And here's one from Kafue, Zambia. And here's one from Marrakesh, Morocco. So we're going to look through these together, and your job is going to be on the you side to write down at least one phrase that is something where you say, I could have written that. And on the new side, I want you to write down one phrase, at least, you can write down more, one phrase that's where you say, I never would have thought of writing that. That's not something I would say. So that's the new side, okay? And let's take a look at what we have. So as we go through this, I'll read them, but I would encourage you, if you're doing a Zoom call, you can have the students read them. I wish to be an artist that inspire young children. Not only that, but I hope to use the money I earn from selling painting to help kids who cannot afford proper education to receive education. And this is a very beautiful Dreamline banner. You don't have to be a great artist to do this, but obviously this child is. And then there's a map link for each one of them, so I can show you, okay, oh, that's where it's from. UAE right there, right? So take a moment. If there's something here that you would have written down, you might have said, write it down. Or if not, you can, if it's something you never would have said, you can write it down on the new side. Another thing I would tell students is if they don't have time to write something down, they're trying, but they don't have time, they can do a screenshot. So our students all know how to do that. If you have a phone, you swipe it across, or you do whatever you need, and then it captures the screen. So they can do it later. But I do encourage you to have them use an actual piece of paper to write it down as they're going. And I think the physical act of writing helps us to learn and think about what we're writing. It slows us down. So I strongly encourage that process, although obviously it could be typed. So that's one. Now, once you're on this interface, you'll see these arrows. So you see the arrow on the right side here. So if I click on that arrow, it's going to go to the next one. And also, let me back up here because I didn't explain this when I came through. When the set comes up, it looks like this. But to go into the detail, to be able to read the text that's there, I have to click on it, and then it goes to the detailed view. And then as I go through, it's going to show the detailed view of the others as well. This one is from Shanghai, China. And here it says, my dream is our China's air is clear. If this comes true, what does it mean? There were no cars, buses, trucks, and some other make PM 2.5 cars too. There will be electrific cars, bicycles, and some other electrific traffic tools too. My dream is that there were no wars. Every country is friendly to another country. Terrorists will put their gun down and don't kill down. And they want to be normal. Harmony, we are just waiting for you here. So that's by Jason, and he's in grade 5. So that's as his second language, quite extraordinary. And again, of course, you can remind students of where Shanghai is if they don't know. And they can also take a look. So let me give you a moment here to write things down that are new or you. Okay. And just as an aside, when these kinds of, if you see you can see the social icons down at the bottom. Part of the feature of our mobile app is that it uploads the Dreamline banners, and these obviously have all been uploaded from teachers around the world. It uploads them into a format that's very socially shareable, so that the idea of sharing dreams, of seeing something that's inspiring to you and then sharing it out to others becomes very easy. And that is one of our goals, is to make that sharing possible so that more people become aware and inspired. This one is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I live. And it was created by a student in 5th grade also, actually. This student writes, I live in a world where school shootings happen often, where innocent children are killed day by day, where I hear families cry tears of sadness, and where I see others cry tears of joy because of the pain they cause. I dream a world where families are happy to see their children safe, where families don't worry if their children will come home alive, where children don't think about what will happen next, and where children don't despise. I will make a world where it's hard to get guns, where I see children safe, where kids are feeling happy, and where children are learning to make a change one day. So that's written by a student in 5th grade in West Philly. And one of the things that it says, hear my voice. I love that she wrote that at the top. One of the other elements here is that there is a voice file. So part of the mobile phone app allows a voice file upload. And so we can actually hear this student reading.
I live in a world where school shootings happen often, where innocent children are killed day by day, where I hear families cry tears of sadness, where I see others cry louder because of the pain they caused. I dream a world where families are happy to see their children safe, where families don't worry whether their children will come home alive or not.
So you can hear the child's voice. And one of the things I love about that is when we hear the voice, and I hope you could hear it, sometimes the audio in this kind of scenario is not that easy. But if you go to our website and you go to the gallery, you can select to hear banners that have audio files. So the voice carries the personality and the identity of a human, right? Without anything that's compromising, without any name, phone number, anything that you would never share on the internet. And yet the voice makes that person real. You know, one of the things I always love to tell my students was that people can identify their friends' voices instantly, but computers, it's very, very difficult for them to do that actually. They're just barely getting that technology to happen because a voice is like a signature that we immediately identify and gives us a sense of humanity. So I love, that's what we call the audio signature. So that's this one from Philadelphia. This one is from White Mountain School in Alaska. So I would definitely show students where that is. It's way up here in the Bering Circle. It's actually in the Bering Strait School District, which is about as big as the state of Texas or something insane. This happens to be from a fly-in village, a village of 200 people, where the only access is by plane. There are no roads that go there, and they also, ski mobile. You can get there in the winter. But it's a very small village, and they've been participants in our program for many years. So this student wrote about, and you can see it's actually a printed text here. It was a technology to print on fabric that they used. This one says, "Earth, teach me to promise. Teach me to promise as the moon shines light for the animals. Earth, teach me to believe as birds fly for the first time. Earth, teach me to wish as the wolves howl toward the moon and stars. Earth, teach me to trust as a moose and its babies swim across the river. Earth, teach me to hope as the plants wait another day to see the sun. Earth, teach me to create as the earth provides food. Earth, teach me to dream as every soul has its imagination soar." So that was written by a student in middle school, 12 to 14 years old. You can see that we have participant ages listed up here. And that we don't go by grades because they change all over the world. So we list by ages. How old were these students? They were 12 to 14 years old. And so I'll just give you a moment to write down something that's something that's new. Okay, I'm going to go on. Each one of these has 6, so there's 2 more left in this text series. So this one is from in Kafue, Zambia, and that is right here. And the student writes, "My dream is to bring Zambians together to achieve something big. If we believe we can achieve, like stop corruption by working together with responsibility, economically by working with unified and cooperative, and Zambians should be at peace with other nations. Peace makes order." So that's a student in grade 9 in Kwafi, Zambia. And the group was the Amos Youth Center. So it's like an after-school learning center. Right, and then let's see, the last one is from that's done in Marrakesh, Morocco, and I'll play the audio file for you as we look at it.
Okay. I dream of a world that is green, mountains so high that their summits can't be seen, rivers so clear with water you don't need to clean, forests so diverse with wildlife that doesn't sleep, oceans so alive with whales as big as my dreams. Stop.
And here's the text. You can make it larger if you need to. Okay, so so that is the you new activity. And I am going to, let's see, let me pop over here to this screen and then close this out. And I want to try something here. We can't have a whole group conversation. However, I would like you to go in the chat right now and write down something that you wrote for either new or you. So if you're doing the you one, I want you to write you and then the phrase that you wrote down. And if you're doing the one that's new, I want you to write new and then the phrase that you wrote down. Okay, so let's do that now. I want to see a lot of things popping up in the chat here. I will do it too. Hmm. Hmm. Great. That's terrific. I think you did a fabulous job. So, you know, I think that the whole notion of getting our students to think about what's what's new, what's you, is the launch place, and then we bring them to a space of thinking about now what are your values, because we want them to get grounded, and we talk about, you know, what are values: peace, harmony, togetherness, and so on. And then thinking about 20 years from now, what's a problem in the world I would like to see gone 20 years from now? And that's where the UN SDGs come in. And some of those poems you saw had this pattern of, you know, I live a world, I dream a world, I make a world. So it's a structure. We offer a lot of different kinds of structures for the writing, so that you can find the right ones for your students. But we invite them to dream about that future and then to ground it. So each Dreamline banner becomes something that has a sense of purpose and value, has a sense of imagination and vision, and has a sense of connectivity, of inclusion and collaboration. Another thing that we do, and this is, we're running out of time, so I'll just summarize this. When schools participate, and this is, again, depending on your online setting, this may or may not be available to you, but as schools participate in our program and they upload their Dreamline banners to our Dreamline mobile app, the Dreamline World app, and they are tagged with SDGs, then we create a report for the teacher that shows you what percentage of students were thinking about change in education, what percentage of students were thinking about a change to do with economic security or health. And then we have a collection, a database of curriculum resources, online curriculum resources, to engage your students at an age-appropriate level. So we have them sorted into different categories of, you know, high school, middle school, elementary school, to do an action project that has to do with a particular area of interest for your students. So perhaps that's health right now, right? Many of our recommended projects as sort of the second stage, right, post Dreamline, are iEARN projects. So we have gone through, we also include other ones from different places around the world that they all have to do with the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. So they are all SDG aligned, and they give you a next step. So for now, I would encourage you, I'd love to see your participation in our program. We have June 7th. June 7th is the date for our work to bring it all together. And we're working with Zoom right now, actually, to have a conference that can have as many as 500 participants in it. And we'll have online workshops and sharing and live Zoom sessions. So it will be, I think, very, very exciting. We're working on a music project where we invite people to voice record different tracks that we're going to send out, and then we compile them together, and that'll be part of our June 7th presentation. And we are also doing some extension information calls for our program. So when you sign up on the iEARN site, you will also get email from us that tells you how to participate in a Zoom call that's a small group of people to learn the details about how this program works. And you do need to participate in one of those calls in order to participate in this abundance program. But if you sign up on the iEARN, that's the first stop. And we'd love to connect your students' dreams with the world this year. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I have some questions that I've been collecting from the chat for you. And one of the first questions we have here is, can they do the flags digitally without paper or cloth, if that's something that their classroom has the capability to do?
So the answer to that is yes, but. Yes, but we're very strongly focused on students doing original work. So because of the Corona situation, we don't really have the capacity to say you can't do this or can't do that. We want people to participate. But we do want you to recognize that for your students, they need to create their own artwork. So digitally, it makes it very easy for kids to copy and paste. But it's very important to get the benefit of our program to follow the guideline that it's all original work, but it could be original digital work, yes.
There's a question here about whether they could ask their students to relate this specifically to the COVID-19 situation, and I'd love to hear your thoughts there.
Our program engages students to share their dreams with the world. Various organizations or schools often focus that dream making on a particular topic or idea. So yes, you could suggest a topic or idea. I would encourage you to remember that the students that in our dreaming, in our imagining, we hope that our students will not just imagine what isn't true, but will imagine what is true. So yes, they could focus on a specific area if that's what you want to do as a group. But I would encourage you to have them be original and creative in what they think about what could be true in light of what everyone wishes wasn't true.
Great. How can students connect with other students with this program?
So what we do is we're a teacher-to-teacher conduit. However, on the iEARN platform, students can engage and participate in any manner that their teacher wants to do. We also, in the Dreamline program, will put teachers in touch with other teachers. So once you register, you become part of a list of people, and then if you want to connect with someone else, you let us know, and then we make that connection. So it's a teacher-to-teacher connection, and then you can take it from there.
Great, thank you. One of our attendees actually saw you in Winchester with a dream spiral, and they were curious about how you make that, or can they purchase that? Can you explain that?
Sure. Yeah, we've created a dream spiral out of PVC that's amazing, and we have a lot of different exhibition elements. We have an online store, so if you go to the Dreamline website, dreamline.org, there's a link to the store. So we don't have the PVC elements in there, but if a school is interested in that, they could contact us, and we would be able to provide either the materials or just the plans if they want to create it themselves.
Great, thanks. Is there a problem with using different languages?
No, it's the opposite of a problem. Using different languages is great. One of the things about our platform is, although it's mostly in English and this presentation is in English, we encourage different languages. Right now we have a program in the remote area of Veracruz, Mexico, which is not only in Spanish, but it's also in a number of indigenous languages that are spoken in that area. So we want to validate the authenticity of these languages. It's also true that, I didn't show you this in the presentation, that on our mobile app where there's an audio recording, the audio recording can be in many languages. And we do have some Dreamline banners that are recorded in various languages.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your presentation today. And I am going to pass this off to Jennifer, who's going to talk about some tips for online learning and teaching.
Great, thanks, Connie.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Jeffrey, for sharing about the Dreamline project. I hope everyone here participates, gets their students to do some great artwork and share about their dreams. So thank you again. So as part of our Wednesdays with the World webinar series, we are sharing activities, strategies, and tips for online teaching and learning from the iEARN community. So today's topic is video conference tips and tricks. Step one, you made it here, you're in the video conference. So good job to everyone here today. And thanks to those who will watch this later. So many teachers and students are using video conferencing tools like Zoom for the first time to teach and learn online. And we're going to take a look at some video conference tools and share some strategies and activity ideas for keeping students active and engaged in video conferencing. But first, I want to ask you and a question about how it's going so far and what you're doing perhaps with video conference and your class. So let me get that set up. Okay, you should see a poll on your screen now. And I'm just curious to know if you've used a video conference platform with your class, especially if you're out of school right now due to COVID. And if so, how'd it go? Okay, and I'm going to give that just a moment for your votes to come through. Okay. I see one of our options shows up twice. Apologies. Okay, so I'm going to share the results. About half of you said, yes, it worked great. That's awesome. I want you to share your tips as we go along in the chat box and what you do for having great video conferencing with your students. Some said, yes, we had difficulties. Hopefully there's some tips today that might help with that. And then, no, but I'd like to try. So I'm glad that you're curious to try. And hopefully this helps build some strategies and ideas for how you could do a video conference with your class. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide here and jump right in and talk a little bit about platforms to start. The platform you decide to use will depend on what's available, what works best for all the participants in the conference, so what your students have access to, and guidance from your school or district. The platform options for video conferencing are constantly changing, and there's new platforms that pop up all of the time. Some platforms will require you to purchase an account, like WebEx or BlueJeans or Zoom Pro. Other platforms can be used for free, like Zoom has a basic option that's for free, Skype, Google Hangouts. There's a couple others like Talkio and iEARN that we'll mention today. So I'm asking you to leave a note in the chat box and let us know which tools you've used so far, if you have indeed used a tool. So go ahead over to the chat box and let us know. I'm seeing Zoom, Skype, Google Meet, Flipgrid, and some other tools mentioned in here, Padlet, Hangouts. Great, thanks for sharing. Let's go to the next slide. I'm going to briefly talk about Zoom, which we're using today on the next slide. Okay, and so just a quick note that Zoom, there are some free options available for teachers now in COVID-19. So do check it out. it might be an option that's available for you to use for free. There's a lot of great things that we're going to be doing today in the webinar that you can try with your class. And if we can go back to that Zoom slide. Thank you. And the great thing about Zoom is obviously you can have a lot of folks on video, a lot of rich discussions. You don't need a lot of bandwidth to use it. And there's a lot of cool features like breakout groups, chat, recording, and whiteboard that you can use and share. There is an iEARN Zoom room available for iEARN members to request. So if you would like to request to use our room, Alexandra put a note in the chat box about that. And so you can request and we'll give you a Zoom room that you can use. You do need to ask about 2 days in advance or a little bit earlier if it's a Saturday or Sunday. Okay, so the next slide, please. And real quick, I just want to highlight there are 2 other free apps that don't require a plugin to download. You just create a link. Those are Talkio and iEARN. And those are something else to check out if you're looking for an alternative to Zoom. We're also in the chat box going to share a review of a few video conferencing tools so you can see the comparison on the features. There are, again, many tools available. Thanks, Alexander, for that link that you can try. Okay, but choosing the video conference platform is only part of the planning needed to have a meaningful connection. So we're going to share some activity ideas really quickly in the next 5 minutes with you for how you can engage participants in a video conference activity, starting with some icebreakers. And please share your ideas in the chat box as we go along for icebreaker ideas that you have. So icebreakers, they help students to warm up before you dive into the content of your teaching. And here's a couple that we like and have tried with our team. And I see there's a couple coming through like Kahoot as well that you can try. So one game that I like is Pictionary. It's a drawing game. And you can play it where either one person in your class draws or everyone draws. So for example, if I had my class in a video conference, I could ask all of my students to take 20 seconds and draw what they had for breakfast. And so then we'd give 20 seconds, and then maybe everybody holds up a visual of what they had for breakfast. If you can guess what I had for breakfast in the chat box from my bad drawing, then you'll be doing great. But this is sort of a fun, engaging way to see and get some creativity going among your students. It's a good, fun, energizing activity. You can also do it where just one person draws and the others have to guess. So for example, imagine you're in a geography class and here is your guessing. So can anyone guess which country this is? And if you can put in the chat box your guess. Let's see if you get there. Okay. I'm not sure if everybody is seeing my video or not. I don't see anyone guessing yet. Okay, I see Chile. Oh, I think that's my my bad drawing. It's Argentina in South America. So thanks for humoring me and guessing the pictures there. So other games that you can do with your students are trivia. So for example, you split the students into a team, ask a question, and then the students have to guess the answers. Or you could have the students write the trivia questions and have each other guess the answers. So aside from games, you can just do some very simple sharing props to check in with the group and encourage connections just with simple questions. You can do it visually. So for example, and I'm going to ask my panelists to pop up on video so we can see. I see Connie on video and Nicole. You can do thumbs up, thumbs down. So for example, if you just want a quick yes or no of the students, you can say thumbs up, thumbs down. I have read all of the Harry Potter books, for example. Let's see, thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, Connie and Alexander have, Nicole and Jeffrey haven't. So it's a very quick way to get a read on yes or no questions. And you can also do something where students hold up numbers with their fingers. So just to get a quick sense of how everybody is doing in the group. How do you feel today from 1 to 10? If you can hold up your fingers. Okay, I see 7, some 9s, 8s. I'm doing pretty great because I'm hanging out with you all today. So thank you. So that's a couple ways that you can get engagement going just very quickly with visual. You can also rotate, and thank you to panelists to popping up on the video and showing yourselves. You can also pose questions to your students and have them give responses for questions that are very simple, like what is your favorite activity to do at home? And a recommendation to keep conversation going when you're in a video conference is have the speaker tag the next speaker. So maybe it's my turn to speak, and then I would say, I'm going to pick Nicole next, and she's going to share her response, and so on. So finally, I would say ask your students for ideas. The youth are so creative in designing ways to connect with their friends online. Ask them for icebreaker activities to get their class warmed up and ready for learning. Okay, so we're going to wrap up. I'm going to ask Rashana, if you wouldn't mind skipping to the troubleshooting slide. So 2 slides forward. And I'm going to have Alexander share our video conferencing guide with you. So if you are looking to try out video conferencing and haven't done it yet, looking for activity ideas, things to do with your class, the link to our iEARN video conferencing guide will be in that chat box. It's a great resource. It also has the link to our Zoom request and some of the platform assessments that you can use. So next week, we're going to take a look at building meaningful discussions online. Let us know if there is a topic or question you'd like us to address in a future tip session in our webinar series. We'd be happy to address a topic that's of interest for you. Okay, so I believe we're at the top of the hour, which is our time. I'll check with the team here if we're okay hanging out a couple minutes for some any questions for people that are live here in the room perhaps. But I'll pass it first just to wrap up our session for the day. All right, I got a thumbs up from Alexander. Okay. Great. Any questions that came through about video conferencing or ideas that we'd like to highlight? You see, Harmeet says, what is the best video conferencing tool? Not a simple answer, but check out that guide and you'll see some comparisons of things. We like using Zoom here, but there's plenty of tools out there that you can try. And I see there are a couple of things in here, class management online. I think that's a great topic and perhaps something that we can bring into next week a little bit when we talk about meaningful online discussion. I'd love to hear, Jalel, any tips you have for class management online as well. Great. All right, thanks everyone for engaging in discussion around this week's tip session. I'll pass it over to Connie, perhaps to wrap up with any notes.
Absolutely. So you see here that our session for next week is online. Is the online learning, but also, can we see that last slide, please, Rashana? The very last one. There we go. Thanks very much. Next week, we're doing digital storytelling with Wendy Jacques and Austin Haberle, and we're excited to have them talk to us about the digital storytelling project that'll be happening. You'll see the registration link. Alexander's just posted it in the chat, and so we hope that you will join us next week at the same time for that session. Thanks so much for coming today, and we look forward to seeing you again on Wednesdays with the World.